So, gentlemen, I have something a little more different today, exciting actually. I have a book review of The Art and Science of Personal Magnetism by Theron Q. Dunmont, The Secrets of the Mental Fascination. And I want to go through a particular excerpt on the physical phase of personal magnetism. I think as my research and as my knowledge gets a little bit more profound, I'm coming to the understanding of how powerful the nervous system is beyond, let's say, a Western understanding. I think we don't give true credit to how powerful our nervous system can be beyond the confines of the physical body. I know that it has powers beyond that, and you can start to influence people, you start to influence things, just by tapping into the innate powers of the nervous system. So I'm going to waste no time here. I'm going to start with the introduction. The physical phase of personal magnetism, depending on two coordinated manifestations of the nervous force. And I really like the terminology here, the nervous force, because I believe it's more grounded in a Western and scientific vernacular. So as it follows, number one, the generation within the nervous system of a plenteous supply of nerve force. You can call this nervous energy, bioelectrical energy, or whatever is most commensurate to your understanding. And the second is the conscious projection by the will of that supply of nerve force into personal atmosphere and even to a greater distance under special conditions. So for me, it's the understanding that not only do we have this potent life force, this prana, this chi, this ki within us, which I'll talk about in just a moment, but we can actually move it through intention in the nervous system. So we'll go through the delineation first and foremost. By nerve force, as it is used in the above paragraph, I mean that strange, mysterious form of energy which controls all physical movements and yet, at the same time, appears to be something higher than the physical itself. So I think for me, these are these moments where you start to get these sixth sense about things in the environment. There's actually a subreddit called Spiritual Chills. Well, you know, when you get the chills because something's wrong about the situation, or perhaps you have a spiritual insight in meditation. These are the circumstances where the nerve force goes beyond conventional scientific and empirical understanding, in my estimation. So it's akin to electricity or magnetism in its real nature. And like these forces, is impossible to define. Nerve force is something far different from the matter of which the nervous system is composed. The nervous system from spinal cord to the most delicate nerve filament is at the best but a system of wires, relays, etc. over which nerve force travels, or else complicated reservoirs in which the nerve force is stored. And here is a reference to the ganglions, in where these nerve plexuses come together in clusters to store this nervous energy, this chi, this ki. The ordinary nerves serve as wires and cables over which the nerve force travels to move the parts of the body which we will move, or which our subconscious mentality desires to move. So this is a crucial piece of understanding to know here. So certain parts of the brain are great reservoirs of nerve force, as are also the great groups of nerve matter called the plexi, predominant among which are the solar plexus and the sacral plexus. So you have great storehouses of this energy in the sacral plexus and especially in the solar plexus. But I just want to bring your attention back to this point here. So ordinary nerves serve as wires and cables over which the nerve force travels to move the parts of the body, which we will move, or which our subconscious mentally desires to move. Now, I just want to draw your attention to this particular word, subconscious. Through breath work, through pranayama, which is control of breath, you can start to make this conscious. Conscious mentally desires mentality to move, right? You can influence nervous innervation through the mind. And the example I always give is if you bring your attention to your left foot, right? You're now consciously thinking about this and you're innervating the nerves in that area. You can do the same thing when you think about your stomach, when you think about your heart, when you think about your solar plexus, and you can innervate the energy in that area. And with intention, with breath, you can then move that nervous energy elsewhere in the body. So the ordinary textbooks of physiology pass over the question of the real nature of nerve force, for their writers do not possess the secret. This is occult, this is very esoteric what I'm sharing here. They dispose of the question by saying, as in the case of electricity, while we fully recognize its existence and its power, nevertheless we do not know its real nature. So there's a big question mark about the true capacity and remit of this force. And so the student must go back to some of the old occult writers in the past ages and their followers in the present age in order to get the secret. All occultists, ancient and modern, have recognized the existence of a mighty subtle force of nature, one of nature's finer forces, which is the most potent in its effects and activities, but which nevertheless deified all power of analysis or definition. The reason that science has never been able to classify nerve force is because, like electricity, it is in a class by itself, and it's different from any form of other force, so different that it cannot be classified with other forces. So we're starting to get into the more mystic areas of what I have mentioned: chi, ki, prana, vital energy, shakti. All these things are different names for the kind of energy, nerve force, bioelectrical energy we are speaking about. The occultists, on the contrary, while not attempting to define nerve force, recognizing it to be a class of its own, nevertheless have discovered the source of its origin and have given us the most valuable information as to its use. They have given it many names, for instance, vital force, vital energy, life force, vital fluid, vital magnetism, etc. As in the case of the Orientals, the term prana or akashic energy have been applied to it. So I'm going to skip here ahead in terms of how an individual can actually start to create more nerve force and have greater energy in that kind of capacity. So you naturally ask, how does the body absorb the universal nerve force? Through what channel does it enter the system? The answer is plain. In plant, animal, and human life, the nerve force is breathed into the system. In other words, the process of breathing in its higher and lower forms is not alone that of extracting oxygen or elements from the air, but also that of extracting the universal nerve force at the same time. This is why I keep hammering on about pranayama as a means of transmutation. This is the start of alchemy, right? It's the air, not just the air, not just the oxygen, but prana, the energy from the air that you are moving into the lungs, into the blood, into the CSF, into the nervous system. When this is understood, it will be more easily understood why the living thing perishes so soon if the process of breathing is interfered with. The understanding of the secret of nature throws a much needed light upon the important part played by breathing in the life of all creatures. And the correlations with magnetism lie in what is true of electricity, and this element in respect is likewise true of the nerve force, for it will not only often leap over the barriers of the nervous system, but will and constantly does affect other nervous systems by a kind of induction. So this aura we speak about, getting people in your aura, attracting individuals, is not such an esoteric idea. It's your nervous system has an aura, like a battery, like a magnet. The body is actually an electromagnet. When you start to have more nerve force through cultivating breathing habits, I mean, if you're watching this video right now, the odds are you are breathing very, very shallow. I mean, if you ask yourself the question, how conscious are you of your breath in any given moment? The answer is not so much, right? So when you start to get greater nerve force through transmutation, alchemy of the air into prana, into nerve force, you start to expand your electromagnetic field. And it's not your aura, so to speak. Well, it is your aura, but people are sensing your electromagnetic field. Not only is the phenomenon of personal magnetism a proof of this transmission of nerve force, but the phenomenon of human magnetism, as it has been called in the direction of magnetic healing, a proof, moreover, that may be obtained by any individual in his own experience. Now, breath, I know I've been speaking about breath quite extensively of late. You need to have an understanding and become commensurate with the idea that your lifestyle habits, be them optimal or degenerate, are going to have an effect on your breath and your capacity to get air in and generate nerve force. I mean, even if you think about something like being in lower negative emotion, if you're in a lower negative emotion, your posture is typically closed. So the front of your body is closed. If the front of your body is closed, you compress the lungs, you compress the chest, you compress the shoulders and the neck, and you can't fully breathe and expand the lungs to its fullest, okay? So a depressed person is holding themselves in this kyphotic posture, shying away from the world. However, if you're in a positive emotion, you throw out the chest, the tongue is up against the palate, right? And you actually breathe deeper. Now, the challenge with this is recognizing, if you're first aware of this, just changing your posture, just changing your habits and your lifestyle habits, not just with posture, but all things to start getting more air into the body, more prana into the body, more chi into the body, will greatly have an influence on your nerve force, and subsequently your life starts to turn around in a more positive way. But you have to first recognize that idea. It starts very, very simply. And if you're already in positive emotion, if you are throwing out your chest, if you are doing breathing habits and you've got good posture and good breathing patterns, more things start to come your way. You become denser like gravity, and things start to come into your orbit, so to speak, because your electromagnetic field is larger. Breath work, breath work, breath work, breath work. This is the hill I will die on. And just a quick little plug, first breathwork video is going to be on Patreon very, very soon if it's not already. Gentlemen, these are not theories. These are facts. Speak soon.